Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Today my guest is Mr. Emile Sheng, who is the president of L'Hôtel de Chine Group and who's our former cultural minister. Well, let's welcome Mr. Sheng. Hi.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to Shirley and all our listeners.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for making this time.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, you actually started off as a political science professor at Suzhou University in Taipei before you became cultural minister. Now, did you know all along, I'm curious, that you wanted to go into politics? I mean, how old were you when you first got interested in politics?
Actually, I knew all along that I don't want to go into politics. So I started teaching in 1998 after I got my PhD from Northwestern University.
Okay.
So I started teaching and also working as a political commentator in the media. So at that time, actually, I got a few offers for me to go into politics. I think I remember two most vividly. One asking me to become a legislator at large, and the other one asking me, actually by the current president, while he was the Taipei mayor, he asked me to be the chairman for the Research Evaluation Commission back in 2004. But I think I quite enjoyed my life as a professor, so I actually declined all these offers. And but in 2006, when the current Mayor Hau was first elected in his first term, he really he just won't take no for an answer. So he talked to me 3 times in 6 days because there's a time urgency for him to form his city cabinet, and so because of his persistence, I agreed to join his city government. Actually, that was the same position that Mayor Ma offered me 2 years ago. Oh. So if I do have a plan or a political ambition to really go into politics, probably working with then Mayor Ma would be a better choice for a politician's career. Because everybody knows that he's going to run for the next president, and probably he's the front runner at that time. So, but actually, because I wasn't really planning to go into politics, and somehow it happened, and I was also appointed to become the CEO for the Deaflympics organizing committee.
Right, and you did a good job, by the way.
Thank you. And because of that job performance, they thought about asking me to become the cultural minister. So, but I can tell you, because it's already in the past. So, actually, when they first invited me, asked me to become the cultural minister, I also declined because I felt like 2.5 years of public servants, that's enough. That's enough for me. So I quit my job in the city government, and I also declined the offer to be the cultural minister. I went back to Suzhou University teaching. But they kept coming back for the next 3 months. So in the end, they persuaded me to take the job. So I also doubled my function as the cultural minister and also the CEO for the centennial celebration for the country. So now that I think of it, I really had a very unfortunate arrangement, such in the sense that I take one salary for 2 jobs at the same time. Both when I was the city government, I work as I also have to be in charge of the Deaflympics.
Right.
But as the cultural minister, I also double my duty as the CEO for the centennial celebration. So that was 4.5 very busy years.
Yes, definitely. I mean, big projects, on your shoulder. But I must say that, Mr. Sheng, it hasn't been easy, and you did a good job anyway. So, but going back on the fact that you just said you didn't intend to go into politics in the very beginning. So, what happened? You haven't really answered this question here.
I think the first time it's really, I think Mayor Hau's personality was really the key point that persuaded me.
So he saw something in you.
Yes. I actually told him that you have more confidence in me than myself. Because at that time, I really, my only experience is a professor and a political commentator. I actually told him very frankly that I know I can talk,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if I can really perform and deliver all these functions that you want me to do, because we've seen so many examples where professors really don't do very well in the administrative system because there's very different qualities and tasks. And I don't really have confidence in myself at that time because I don't know whether I can be accustomed to the whole political environment. But he's very persistent, and he did his homework. I told him that I don't like the political environment because too many political struggles within it. And he said, come for a year, and if you don't like it, you can go back to teaching. And you already are promoted to full professor, so you have nothing to lose. And in the end, I told him that my family disagree. So I thought during those kinds of negotiations, that was the final line for me.
Right.
So that it actually means, okay, let's stop the conversation.
Right.
I really can't. But somehow he answered me immediately that, can I talk to your family? That, which family members of yours disagree? Can I talk to them?
Oh my goodness.
So that really that response actually really touched my heart. I feel like this mayor is really different from, because to be honest, in the past, this process would go for a few hours, and then when they finally realize that you're really not interested, then they just let go. But this time, I feel like he's so persistent, and so I think 80% of the reason is really because of his attitude that really touched me. So that because you know what, I make only 25% of what I used to make when I go into the public service. And that's a lot of financial sacrifice for a young person starting his career.
So who was the family member that was against you going to politics?
There isn't. I'm really just using that as an excuse.
Excuse?
Yeah, my wife actually is very supportive of my decisions, and I'm really thankful to her, because as a family, like the income part, that's a big loss for our family. So because I used to host television programs, and as a TV program host, you actually make a lot more than a government official in Taiwan.
I see. So would you encourage your children to go into politics?
No, I won't encourage them to do anything, but I would respect their own passion and their decision. So if they think that they like politics, I wouldn't stop them from doing it, but I wouldn't encourage them either. So I think every child should has his own freedom to develop his own future. Yeah.
Right. How old are your children now?
First grade and second grade.
Oh, they're still
very young, very young. Yeah.
I was just going to ask, has you as a father influenced your children already about going to politics?
No.
But they're still too young. Yeah, way too young. So you must have really enjoyed watching politics and the way, legislators kind of argue and fight in the legislature, that kind of thing, to make you be a political commentator.
Yes. I actually enjoy analyzing political events, and that when I graduate from college, actually that was the first crossroad. I have to make a decision, because I applied. I got accepted to a few schools, but very different direction. Like for example, NYU Business School. I got accepted to get an MBA in NYU, and on the other hand, it's Northwestern's political science PhD program.
Right.
So I have to make a decision. But most of my relatives encouraged me to take the MBA route, because according to the brochure they sent me, the starting salary for the average starting salary for a NYU MBA graduate is 80,000, and almost in a year it doubles.
Oh.
So on the other hand,
thanks for revealing these stats.
that was in 1992.
Oh, okay, wow.
When MBA was really hot, but now my feeling is that the MBA is cooling down a bit. MBA is not as
hot a degree as before.
Right.
Why is that?
Too many MBA. That's really just,
okay.
That's really just the reason.
And what is on the rise now, in comparison?
I would say
electrical engineering.
No, I think bio.
Biotechnology.
Biotechnology.
That was my next question. But anyway, next choice of thought. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You were saying.
So, but on the other hand, that if I go study in the political science, it will take at least 5-6 years. MBA program is 2 years maximum.
That's right.
So and you don't really you won't even be guaranteed for a job, and even and also the job pays a lot less in poli sci. But I feel like analyzing and observing political events is really something I like to do. So I feel like do what you like. So that's really more important for me.
Okay.
So that was the first time I have to make this career choice.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Taiwan is promoting its culture and creative sector. What exactly is culture and creative sector? I think what confuses people the most is probably not so much the culture part, the creative part. Can you explain what that really means? The culture and creative sector.
Right. I think this means different things to different people. So there's really no one answer that I can give. But according to my own understanding and version, it's really that you put creative thinking and new forms and ideas into our tradition that are based on your cultural basis. So many things. For example, calligraphy. It might not be people now are not
taking
that much emphasis on calligraphy,
writing.
Right. But how can we put new life into it? For example, like Master Dong Yangzi actually had a exhibition with Ah Xin, the singer from Wu Yue Tian.
Okay.
And they had a joint exhibition, and that was a great hit. They combined calligraphy with music, and it created so many different new dimensions, and there are new stories to tell, and young people are really attracted to that. So this is, I think, one example. You put a creative idea into your own traditional way of doing things and your own cultural basis, so that a new life is formed. And we hope to make that into commercialized, because it's really about supporting expanding the supporting basis for the traditional culture, because you can't just always rely on governmental support. If you can find a business model for that and try to commercialize it, then more people will be able to be in contact with it and also to enjoy it and consume it. That's the whole idea.
Oh, okay. So do you think the main focus is to try to attract young people to enjoy the traditions?
Not really just young people, but try to put culture into everybody's life more. I think that's really the aside from the business consideration, that's really the inherent cultural consideration. Because just take a cup as an example. You can actually drink your water in a plastic cup, but why would you want to buy a much more expensive and well-designed cup? So you have to create a story and to attract everybody from upgrading their lifestyle, so that more and more people can enjoy the beauty in life. So I think that's really the inherent cultural thinking when we try to promote the industry.
Did we get this idea from other countries? Is that what
Definitely,
other countries are doing?
This is exactly what the British is doing. They are the leading model for the world.
Okay.
Yeah, they put so much emphasis on cultural creative, but in different countries give different names. In British, they call it creative industry. In China and in some other areas of the world, they call it cultural industries. But in Taiwan, the tradition here is to call it a cultural creative industry. So we combine both ideas, but they're really talking about the same thing.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about, excuse me, We're going to talk about more about Mr. Emile Sheng's role as the culture minister and also about the hotel industry in Taiwan. But let's take a break now first.